Good morning, everybody. It is I, Stippling Vaughn, and I'm here at my local dive bar. You can tell from the music in the background and from the commotion from everybody. And I am having fun finishing up this piece here. I'm not completely done with this piece. What I have to do is I want to put more tone up here. I'm thinking I want to put like push that dark there, push this dark here, and then add more tone to the tongue to push that into his, because remember that's in his mouth. That should be a darker tone overall as opposed to the skin here. So, but please remember to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Always helps the algorithm to get suggested on other channels for people that are checking out. I'm busy at work. We are 2 weeks away from the Baltimore Comic-Con. So, programming note. On the weekend of the Baltimore Comic-Con, I will not be streaming Stippling videos. I might do some short videos at the show itself. But I will not be actually. I won't actually be doing an actual like Stippling video. It'll be more of a comic experience video. So I don't know. I might just find myself some excluded corner out of the way and stream so everybody can see where I am. I don't think I'll do that whole the influencer type thing where I walk around with my camera, angling around for everybody to see everything and basically be a pain in the ass in everybody's way. I personally find it annoying, so last thing I want to do is become what I find to be overall annoying. So, but you never know, who knows? So, I mean, who knows, maybe it'll be a short of me chatting it up with Shay, since she's going to be volunteering down there. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing Shay. It's actually good because of the fact that it's like, hey, she's just like me. She's a fan. She's building up her channel. She's doing it because she loves doing it. So I'm looking forward to seeing Shay. And I think, I forget what the name of her co-host is. Cyber Valkyrie or Bot Valkyrie. I think he's going to be there also as a volunteer, so seeing the two of them would be a lot of fun. So now they don't have the map up on their website yet, but if you go to the guest list, you'll see behind each name it's got a booth number. So for instance, like the way they have the show, when you walk into the Baltimore Comic-Con, where the double doors are that you walk in, okay? So here's where the doors are, okay? Here is the convention floor, or this is where all the vendors are. This is where all the comic book sellers are. This is where the guy with the booth with all the Funko Pops is. The guy who has all the different Lego creatures, Lego setups there. You can buy a foam sword there. Those guys are in the very center. Along the right-hand side, there's 2 rows of artists. I call that the staple row. Those are the artists that are almost there every single year, and they usually have their booths. And generally, overall, they almost always end up at the exact same location. So if you have last year's map and you look at where Barry Keatson was last year and you look where he is this year, he's going to be relatively in the exact same spot. Same thing goes with like Tom Raimi, Jim Calafor, Sean Chen. They're all going to be in the same spot. And then like that's all along this side. And then along the back side of all the vendors, you have other artists like Joe State and Todd Bazinga, Craig Rousseau, Richard Chase. They're all along the back area here. And then on the left-hand side, that's where, I don't want to say where the bigger names are because it's a I personally find that that's a subjective term as to who your favorite artists are. But let's refer to that as the most notable artists. Okay, Ron Garney, he'll be over at that side. Charges He charges $10 for a signature. Lee Weeks, Brendan Peterson, they'll both be on the left-hand side. Walton Wheezy, they'll be on the left-hand side. And then your bigger names that are there, that's their first time, or it's been a while since they're there. So for me, like a perfect example is Jan Durasma and Tom Mandrake. Okay, I see them every single year at the Garden State Comic Con. It's right in their neighborhood, right, essentially like their back door. This is their first time for me. This is their first time at the Baltimore Comic Con. So they're going to be along the left-hand side. Trying to think of Chris Claremont. He's going to be over there. Von Graudenberger. He's going to be on that side. Art Adams is going to be on that side. So a lot of those artists that you don't normally see at the Baltimore show, they're going to be on the left-hand side. The left-hand side, I will be telling you, that is the side that's going to always have lines. No matter what time of day, where it's very beginning of the day on Friday or at the very end of the day, Sunday, they're always going to have lines. That's where those artists are going to be. That's where all your lines are going to be, is on the left-hand side. Now, that's not saying you're not going to have lines elsewhere, but predominantly where you're going to have your lines is along your left-hand side. So be prepared. If you're looking at that list and their booth number is 22 blank blank or 21 blank blank or 24 blank blank, they're all going to be on this side. That's the side that always has the lines. So just to give you a fair warning, one thing I would always advise you is, if you haven't been there in a while, if it's your first time, or even it's your umpteenth time, you've been going there since the early 2000s, I always advise, when you go there, have a little notepad with you. So as you're walking around and you walk by Barry Keatson's table, I can tell you right now, he's going to have a sign up that says his signing times are from this time to this time. Jot him down, his signing times. That way you can plan your day accordingly, so that way you can get over there when you're during the time when he's signing. Same thing goes with Lee Weeks, Brendan Peterson. These days they all have signing times. Art Adams, I'll tell you right now, Art Adams, the very first day, Friday, he's going to be doing sketches, because he makes it available for you to purchase a ticket to get a commission from him, or a head sketch from him, and he does that through his website. So Friday he's probably going to be doing a lot of those. So he's going to have a line where you're sitting there waiting a while because he's doing a sketch. So be wary and be aware of that. I think one of the biggest lines is going to be, honestly, in my personal opinion, I personally feel that Chris Claremont is going to be one of those artists that is going to be in high demand and is always going to have a high line. He is a giant in the industry. He did so much. He's the one that made the X-Men the X-Men. And for good or bad, in my personal opinion, he's the one that really pushed the, not want to say social agenda, but he really used the X-Men as pushing them. They are a minority that's feared, and he's the one who really cultivated that. Now, it's, of course, since then it's been bastardized by every single creator after him. Or maybe not every single creator after him, but every single creator in the 2000s, let's say that, or since 2010. That's when I really started to notice. But he's the one that and when he was doing the X-Men, he made, as the saying goes, he made that team his bitch. He made it the #1 book, and even like you remember, the whole thing of the reason why the Titans came into fruition was the purpose of George Perez and Marv Wolfman doing the Titans was to combat against the sales of the X-Men. So, one important thing, if you're going to the show, on the left-hand side, right when you go in the doors, I think it's booth 2001. It's where the Heroes Initiative is, and they will have artists there that are there by invitation of the Heroes Initiative. And those artists, sometimes those artists are there and they charge a fee and they keep the money. Other artists, the purpose of them being there is to help raise funds for other artists in need. Dexter Vines, he benefited from the Heroes Initiative. He's there. Yes, he does keep the money for himself, but he's about $5 a signature. And what really I like about that is, like, he does keep the money, but if you go up to have him sign a book, he's just not going to use a silver Sharpie or a black Sharpie. He has different colored Sharpie gel pens that he uses, and he signs it by what you have provided. So if you provide a book and he looks at it and goes, red signature will really pop on that, and he'll use a red signature, he'll use a red pen to sign, or he'll use a blue pen. It all depends on what the cover is. He uses that to determine which pen to use to sign. Chris Ivy is going to be there. Chris Ivy was not at the Garden State Comic Con, so I'm really going to be anxious to see him because I want to talk to him about a couple things. So I've got my books for him to sign. I'm going to have him sign a little bit more than usual because of the fact that he wasn't at Garden State. So the books I had set aside for him to sign at Garden State, definitely going to have those signed. But if I can get 1 or 2 extra books for him to sign, I'm going to. He generally doesn't charge for signatures, so he'd definitely be one of those artists that if you're going to have him sign stuff, put some money in the bucket, help an artist out who's gave their health for your entertainment. Remember, think about how many times you were going through personal problems in your life, and what helped you through those times was comics. Okay? Well, some of these artists, like Bob Wick, he can't see anymore. Bob Wick is going to be at the show under the Heroes Initiative banner. Now, on his own, when he signs a book, he charges $10. I don't know if he's charging the $10 and whether he keeps it for himself or whether that $10 is for the Heroes Initiative. So, if he's there, or if he's charging $10 and it's for the Heroes Initiative, I'll be honest with you, I'm more inclined to spend $40, $60 to have him sign some books, as opposed to he's doing it, he's got a line, he's going to be doing pretty good. I'm going to maybe have 2 or 3 books signed. And that's all your personal preference. So, but yeah, Bob Wick, Matthew Clark, Dexter Vines, they're going to be there via Heroes Initiative, and Mike DiCarlo. Mike DiCarlo is going to be there. First time I'll be meeting Mike DiCarlo, and I'm very anxious to meet him. My Crisis on Infinite Earths hardback book, I'm definitely going to be having him sign that. And then on top of that, some other things he did. He did some work on top of George Perez. He did 2 issues of the All-Star Squadron. So I've got those books already set aside to have him sign. So I'll be very curious if he's there and he's just like, donation? Okay. We'll go big. If he's taking it for himself, not so big. So, But okay, we're getting close to the end here. The last thing I'm gonna do is, see, here's where it gets tricky, is I need to treat these teeth as a flat plane, even though we know the teeth aren't. So to do that, I need to put some tone right along the bottom here. So I'm gonna start here to blend that in there and pull it forward along the bottom of the lip. So let's do that. Now remember, if you've watched the other videos, the reason why it's coming out so wispy and so fine is because I'm using ink from an old ink jar. The ink is thick, so it doesn't feed through the nib very well. And as a result, that's the reason why you're getting these really fine, small dots. But you take a look at it, it's one of those, like, it gives you almost like an airbrush feel. Maybe, and I'm not trying to do an airbrush feel many times. When I do this, what my intent is in doing this way is, what if I had taken a Zipatone screen and laid it over his whole face, and now I'm just cutting pieces away from the Zipatone, or I'm taking a razor blade and slowly scratching those dots off a little bit at a time, or in slow lines or half, so that way it gives you that nice feathery look and feel to it. Because even though I'm stippling this, all I'm creating is the illusion and creating visual symbols for telling my story, and visual symbols of a likeness of the characters I've designed. So yeah, you see how I've done that? Just a few dots here and there. So, but yeah, I hope to see people at the show. If anybody, you see me, I always wear my Greek fisherman's cap. I'll probably be wearing, at least on one of those days, maybe more, I'll be wearing my werewolf from Wraith of God, which is still available. I will tag Wraith of God on the campaign, or in this video, so you can go over and take a look at Aaron Lopresti's campaign. He is almost done with that book, and I am looking forward to seeing it. So, but, okay, so here's where it gets tricky, is I want to add a little bit here. So, and the intention of doing that is just so I can add just a hint here and here of his lip. I'm just adding a little bit. I don't need to trace that. I don't need to put a whole bunch of tone in. I just need to put a little bit of tone around the apex of this lip so it slightly pops out. Okay? So, now remember also, tonight I will be on the chat. We are reviewing Michael Bancroft's The Lucent. That's another campaign I will tag in the description, and we gotta clean this nib. Yeah. Hold on, folks. That should be enough to last this. But yeah, we're reviewing The Lucent, so make sure you check it out. Who knows? Maybe what I'll do when I at the show is I'll wear one of my. Maybe if it's not too hot of a day, maybe I'll wear my. Maybe I'll wear my Mad Hatter hat at the show. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know. Hey, you know what? If you're going to be at the show, let me know what day you're going to put. Go in the comments and just simply put, I plan on being there on Friday. I plan on being there Saturday. That way I can keep. That way, maybe we can bump into each other at the show and say hi. So, but yeah, I think I'm about done there because I don't want to do the eyeballs yet because the ink for here and here, it's too hard. I don't want. It's going to look out of place if I use that type of ink here. So I need the ink, the ink that's got the thin ink. That ink needs to be used up some. That way, when I start doing the eyes, it sits in the medium area between here and here, and that way I'll blend in with. So that's the reason why I'm leaving the eyes, the eyelash, and the eyeball. Okay. Next thing I'm going to be working on for my time-lapse video is, of course, the Weird and Scary Pennsylvania. And we've all gone through this before, but yeah, I did the whiskey bottle, finished that one up. So I'm thinking, I don't know. I pretty much got the Boneyard finished here. I'm thinking what I'll do is for today's video, I'll do her. I'll work on her. Part of me wants to see, I could do the covered bridge and finish up with the stones. And the problem with that is that when I set my overhead camera up, it's far off, and with my eyesight, I can't see that well. So I don't. This side here isn't easy. This side, the middle, the bottom, it's easier for me to work on it with the camera because of its location to my eyes. So yeah, I think I might work on the fairy. Or what I might work on is I got over the glowies, the pixie. What I might do is work on this, or work on the pixie dots and the very top of this dam that's broken apart. So I might work on that, but hey, that's what you see, and I might change my mind by the time I start stippling and doing the time-lapse video. So I don't know, but hey, either way, decision has to be made. I'll make it, and I'll go from there. Until then, remember everybody, life is stressful, but that's why you take it all one dot at a time.